Hi Ralph, we heard the news about Steven Gerrard losing his job last night after a defeat. What are your thoughts on that?
What should I tell you? It's a pity when a manager loses his job. But when a club thinks that he has to do it because he wants to have a long-term, a better situation, then they should sack him, like they have done with Dean Smith, although it didn't work really. So it's up to them. It's their decision, their way. It's not our job to discuss this.
On to Southampton now. You had a great result against Bournemouth, your first clean sheet away from home this year. A win as well. Is that the perfect result?
I think it was an important result for us, an important win, no question. It lifts us over the line, and we are, after the last games, we haven't won in the last two games more successful, and this is a positive thing. The negative thing is that we have another big injury that costs us a player for long-term out, Kyle Walker-Peters, and it's the next one that we will definitely lose on a position where we don't have a lot of alternatives. So we're happy about the points. We're not so happy about losing another player.
It was a big win, but some of the fans still seemed a bit unsatisfied after the game with a few boos and jeers. Do you think that was warranted after that result?
No, I didn't have the feeling that they were unhappy about it. We were celebrating with them together, and I couldn't feel that we were unhappy about the win. No.
You mentioned Kyle Walker-Peters. Is there anyone else in the team with any more injury updates?
Bella, as we know, is still out and will take a little bit. We are not so sure how long. Tino and Romeo is back in training, but after such a long time, it will take time for him to be match fit. But it's good to see him back in the training with the team. So this is a positive thing. Yeah.
So, hi Ralph.
Hello.
First win since August. Can you describe the atmosphere within the squad right now? Is it a massive boost of confidence and happiness?
Yeah, in October there is for us sure there are some tough fixtures have been on the plan, and it was important that this one we win. And we did it, and this was important for us as a group, no question. As I said, also against West Ham, I think we were close to a win, but couldn't manage it in the end. And now are coming up for tough games until the World Cup, and we will definitely find the next step against the maybe best team in the moment in the league. What is a super tough game for us, but we have time to recover one day more now, and hopefully we can use this advantage in the weekend.
Was it crucial to win that game, to go into the game against Arsenal?
Every game when you win, it's crucial for the belief and for the self-confidence, and for us to stay in this fantastic league. And for us, it was in the last years always a fight for every point, every weekend. And we can never go in a weekend and say, oh, now we are the favorite and we have to take here the points. And this is our situation in the Premier League since we are here, and I think it's a big achievement that we are consistently since 10 years in this league and always managed to have nothing to do with relegation. Like in the last 4 years, we have never been in really relegation troubles, and for us this is in the moment the first goal we always have in every year, to come as quick as possible to the 40 points, and therefore you have to get points from every team you play against, no matter how good they are, no matter how high they are flying, no matter how long they are unbeaten. We have to believe in us, and we have to be clear that we can, on a good day, cause everybody problem.
Obviously, you beat Arsenal back in April. What's the difference at Arsenal since you last played them?
I mean, they have also been in this game really top in form. I think they had a lot of chances against us. We defended quite deep against them in this game, what doesn't always work. And I don't think this is the plan for the weekend again, because they have definitely improved their game. They are more used now to defend, to do attack against deep defending teams. They have with Gabriel Jesus definitely a massive upgrade in the attack that made a big difference for them in this season. The rest is not so much changed. Yeah, a left back is new, and in the center they are very strong also. So no, a super developed team with a lot of individual quality, and with Michael who is in his second year, I think, now as a manager, or third year. I think third year. I think he also learned how to handle this group, and made some big decisions in the past, brave decisions, and now he get the reward for it. And it's not a coincidence that they are now much more consistent in their performances and flying high.
You managed to upset both Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta's teams last season. They have a similar style, obviously. Do you feel like you have a secret to upset that style of play?
No, because when you compare the two games we had against them last season, we played completely different. We are flexible, meanwhile, this is good, and I think against such teams it is necessary to be in some things a little bit surprising for them, because they are too good and they prepare for this game, and they are too strong to not find solutions against you. So you have to be on your highest tactically and physically, and also with your positive mindset. I think this have to be on the highest level, but when it is, then you have always a chance. And at home, when we can count on our fans, they can support us, and they back us. I think when we do this together, then we have shown in the past that we can also win against teams like Chelsea or Arsenal or whoever it comes to St. Mary's.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
Kyle, you've said he's going to be out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened?
Hamstring injury. So we will see how long. There's a lot of blood, so if there's a tendon involved, we don't know it yet. But it was this long step he made to the ball and tried to make this safe. And this was the moment where the injury came.
Mentally, that's a blow for him, because somewhere in his head, I think, having had a couple of caps earlier in the year with Reece James injured and Kyle Walker, he might have thought he had a little chance of squeaking into the squad as well. So it's a terrible blow for him.
I think for every player who has chance for the World Cup is now a very, very tough time, because you have to play Premier League games, maybe Champions League games on a very intense high level, and know that in short term there is coming one of the biggest things for the players. This is the World Cup for them. And I mean, this is a little bit different to other situations where you're maybe at the end of the season in the summer, and let's run it out a little bit and concentrate on the World Cup. And now they have to push hard, everybody. That is the reason why maybe we have a strange situation that a lot of players are then maybe missing the World Cup.
And with Armel, it was interesting for me working with one of our former players who works with us, who dislocated his shoulder 3 times, ended up having an operation. He didn't have an operation the first time, and then said it was a nightmare for him. So has he got any closer, Armel, to deciding what's best for his long-term future on his shoulder?
You're right. It can always happen again when you don't make the surgery. So and there's definitely damage in the shoulder. But he's a very strong guy, and you can do a lot with strengthen the muscles up there. And it is a maybe more risky version to do it like this, but also a version that is doable.
Arsenal have become a side under Mikel who love to start fast. I mean, they've been starting matches very quickly this season, especially, and shocking sides a bit. You like to be brave. Do you have to look at them, how they play, and go, maybe we stay compact early, or maybe we try and just get through a storm, or what?
Oh, we had some histories against him. We had a fantastic game at the Etihad. Emirates. Sorry, exactly. Yeah. Where we had fantastic first 15 minutes and then conceded the first goal from one action where we haven't expressed good enough. So this can happen when you are forcing them in the beginning. And we had successful games where we did it in a different way. So I think there is not one way to go. I think there is something of a finding the right shape, finding the right players for the shape, because we are now a little bit. So Ainsley, as you know, he cannot play. Kyle cannot play. Romeo is still not fit. Bella is out. So these are the things we have to handle, and for this we have to find solutions. But the good thing in football is that there are always other ways to win games, and we have found it very often. And we're looking forward to have a good home game.
What about you personally, Ralph? In the last couple of weeks, you've refused to use excuses for the games before the last two, for not having a striker or players or whatever. You've refused to say it's about you. But these 4 points you've just had, how big were they for you? How much easier did it make your job, having got these 2 matches and picked up 4 points from 6?
Not really easier, because my job is never easy, and I also never had the feeling that we don't believe in what we are doing here. I think for me the only response I really want to see is the response from the players, and for me, when I see them doing what we ask them to do on the pitch, then you know that this relationship is there. This is the only thing that is interesting me, and I always speak about that the view from outside on the work from us managers is a strange one. Sometimes I think they don't really know what is it about, and what are the key facts, what you're really concentrating in. And this is definitely not about thinking about being sacked or being this is the last game or whatever. Never one time this thought about my future. I'm here now since nearly 4 years. There are a lot of managers longer serving than I do in a moment. And I know, and this is what I said after the last game, I knew in the summer, with all the changes we made in the team, in the staff, that the pressure will be higher this season. And this can be a problem for a very young group, because we need to have time to develop them, like we did every time when young players were coming in. But the issue, meanwhile, is in this league you don't get a lot of time anymore, and this is a fact. So we have to have short-term results, and for this, it helps to calm things a little bit down. But the key factor is, when you want to have a successful time as a club, is that you have a plan where you want to go, and when you have a philosophy what you want to follow. And when this philosophy is to go with the young kids, then you have to know what is it about. We have potential, and we have to put it in excellence, and this takes a little bit, but you need results consistently. You cannot say, but in 2 years they are a great team, because maybe in 2 years you're not in the Premier League anymore. So you have.
Mission impossible, isn't it? Have a young team who've never played in the Premier League and win games every week.
Yeah, but it's the mission we have to do, because it's without alternative, as we have seen in the summer. Because players they have just reached high levels, are not so easy for us to get. Yeah, and so this is the fact. So now you can complain about it, why we don't get them or why they don't come to us, or you can say we trust the guys we have and make them to big stars. And I think we did it in the past very often, and that's the reason why we always lost our best players after a season, and they're going somewhere else.
Thanks, Ralph.
Okay, move on to the section for 10:30 this evening. We'll start with you, Jacob.
Hi, Ralph.
Hello.
Just to be clear, on Kyle Walker-Peters, he will miss the World Cup, or is there not a time frame?
No, that's not the time for it. We don't know it yet. I mean, we cannot be 100% sure how tough it is. But for this weekend and for the next, he's definitely out.
We've seen an increase recently of dissent from managers towards referees. Do you look back at footage or after games and you feel that you need to set an example in terms of how you behave to referees or fourth officials?
I think I can say about me that I, in general, be very respectful to them. To be honest, I was one time complaining about a VR decision that cost me a little bit of money, but Overall, like, I think I'm one of the managers who tries to be very respectful. In the last game, I must say that I wasn't, because I have always a problem when I get the feeling that they have not a clear line in their decisions. I have no problem if they let everything run. This is what I like, because it's Premier League and this is something unique in Europe or in the world, that we have a little bit more intensity in the game. This is why everybody loves this league so much. In the last game, I had a feeling that we had sometimes a little bit of not a straight line where we can say, okay, always let it run or always stop it. But when it's then a little bit not consistent, then I have a little bit problem, and this is why I was complaining a little bit more in the last game, I think. But it should be always in a respectful way, and he should explain me what he thinks, and he should also, the fourth official should explain me what is the reason why, and then I can live with it. Yeah? I can always live with good arguments.
The behaviour on the touchline from the manager is just part of the game now, or do you feel it can be stamped out over time?
No, you can see that everybody wants to win games, and some put more pressure on the referees, some don't. A good referee is a referee that is not affected of voices from outside. But on the other side, I think it should be always normal for the managers to behave in a way that they are like a role model for everybody, yeah? Because I think everybody's looking on us, what we are doing there outside, and it is not good when we are always jumping on them. This is definitely not the way we should do it.
And just on the pitch, the team seem like they've changed the approach in how they defend set plays, especially deep free kicks. Is that something that you've thought of this season? Because it used to be high line, used to hold the 18-yard box, and now you're retreating further inside your 18-yard box.
Well, this is based on the work Ruben does with the guys. He's responsible for the set pieces, and I must say that in the last games, especially in the defensive set pieces, we have made a progress, step forward. We had a lot against us, but we had a lot of first touches, not always, but most of the time. We are now facing also a team with very good set pieces, so we have to have this part of our game again on a very high level. Fact is that we are investing much more time this season in the training sessions in working on set pieces, offensively wise and also defensively. Throw-ins, corners, free kicks, everything. And in the offense, yes, we have scored a few goals, not that many that we thought so far, but this will also come, I'm sure. But the more important thing for me is that we are defensively in a situation, a feeling when you sit outside that you think, okay, everybody is online, everybody knows what he has to do, and also does the job in a good way.
What's the thinking behind the change of approach? Because it's pretty stark, really, because you used to stay really high and now you're dropping a little bit deeper.
I think the delivery of the ball is a little bit harder because the space is not so big. When you have a goalkeeper that is active in this area, it's also a possibility. And you can defend in the ball and not running back and defend the ball. So it is a little bit easier to defend the ball, I think, and this is the main part. I remember when I was promoting with Ingolstadt in Germany, I was doing it in an even deeper way of defending. We parked in front of the 6-yard box and with 4-3-2, I think, and only attacked the zone and nothing else. And it also worked. I think we conceded 1 goal in the whole season with a side free kick. So it was completely zone marking. And meanwhile, things are developing. There is not only one way to do it. Important is that we are definitely, working a lot on this because this makes us stronger, hopefully in the future also, and keeps us more clean sheets.
Benji?
Yeah, Ralph, I mean, first I just want to ask you, in terms of Kyle's injury, obviously that means now a couple fullbacks out, with obviously Livramento out for a while. Does that mean you have to get a little bit more creative, maybe more back five or Musa Ginepo? What kind of solutions, I guess, are you looking at for that?
I don't have the answer yet, to be honest, because I got the news today in the morning, and the process starts now.
Yeah, makes total sense. And I guess it must be relieving at a time like this to have those deadline day signings in Duje Kaletasar and Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who can obviously step in for players who are now out. I mean, they both seem to start a little bit slowly before really adapting over the last couple of games.
is that you put that more down to them and how they've approached their new move, or do you put that down to the group and how they welcome them, or is it a combination of all those factors?
Yeah, it's maybe a combination, but yeah, it's not easy when you come very late in the transfer window. You have no preseason. You come in a team that work together for a few weeks, and then you're jumping in there. So it takes a little bit time to find the way in the group and to perform well, to know what the manager wants from you, to learn. I think there's a lot of time what we invested in working with them. A lot of individual meetings, talking to them. This is what we do with all the young players, all the new players. So also with Douye, for example, and it's I think we don't even talk about it, but the first clean sheet in the season with Douye in the back, replacing Amel was a big achievement for him, because it's very important that he was stepping immediately in a position where Amel did a fantastic job. I think in the last game, so it was not so easy to go there but I think he showed that he can help us. He showed that he's an important player for us in the future, and very happy that we had a good impact from him.
And in terms of centre backs, I mean, it seems like Mohamed Salisu has really continued to step up his game this season. I think some people thought it was being alongside Armel, who's obviously a great player himself, but now alongside Douye, it was still a very impressive performance from him. How excited, I guess, are you to see him really seemingly growing by the game?
I see him against the ball very strong, and with the ball still a lot of things to improve, and he knows this, and we are always demanding a lot, and I think he had in the past, especially with the ball, there were a term when I remember when we were flying high in last season. I think it was in autumn last season, where he played unbelievable with the ball, really calm, used his right and his left leg, and he's not on this level in the moment, and this is why we are always very critical with him, but we have to push him and that he comes back to this level.
Is he someone that reacts well to that kind of, not really criticism, but constructive criticism like that?
He should. No, he is, like all players, I must say, really, and we don't separate anybody. We criticize the captain the same like the player that doesn't, or a young player who comes up. So everybody needs to take it, because we don't do it to only jump on them. We want to help them to get a better player, and this is very important that we are honest to them and try to tell them what is not perfect and what we want to see.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, it seemed like in the last couple of games you've had to defend pretty deep at times, and I know fans, and I'm sure himself, Adam Armstrong, would like to score more goals, but how important is he when you're defending deep and it can be an outlet to bring the ball forward and relieve a little bit of pressure?
When you see Liverpool playing against Man City during the week, I think they were also defending deep. There are some moments where you have to do it. I mean, meanwhile, in football, when we are not allowed to defend deep anymore, then we have a problem. Yeah? Also, when we only think we have to press always around the box, and this is not working. We have seen this very often, so we have to be good in all parts. There are some moments where we can be in there half attacking, and there are some moments where we have to defend around the box, and if it is a little bit more often because the opponent risks more, and after the halftime against Bournemouth you could feel that they tried everything to set us on the back foot, then it is like this, and then we have to do it, and then we have to do it in a comfortable way, or in a way that we are convinced about it, and this is something of a normality. Meanwhile, every club does it. Real Madrid did it last year when they were becoming Champions League winners, so why shouldn't we do it?
No, of course. I mean, it must give you a little bit of confidence to see that you can do it successfully, because that's just another string to the bow of this team.
Yeah, I think this is something of improvement that we have done, hopefully also against the top teams, because there it's even harder. We had this season a game, when you remember, against Tottenham, where we defended very deep and it didn't work because we conceded from crosses, and so this was far too easy.
And just lastly, just going back, I do want to ask about Adam Armstrong's role in that, because obviously we talk about the defenders a lot, but you have to get the ball out, you have to relieve a little bit of pressure on the defense, and he is very good at sort of kicking the ball past defenders, running into space. How important is he to that kind of setup?
I must say that he has a massive workload every game, and the carrying of the ball out of our pressure is massive for us, and he has a good first touch, and learns now also then to still stay on the ball, not losing it then easily, because sometimes we were discussing about that he tries to finish the action. It's not necessary. Keep it there. We are following. We can hold it in the opposite half, and this is for us more important, especially when we're in the lead, than creating the next chance. Because when you are defending for a longer time, deeper, or not having the ball, then it's important to have this lift as a team. And he has these qualities, and we learn this, and he learns this, and this is good to see.
Appreciate it.
Ralph, your first win in 2018 came against Arsenal. What are your memories of that day looking back, if you can remember? It's 4 years.
I had no grey hair. And we had. I remember this game very well. It was also unbeaten Arsenal is coming here to St. Mary's, and we had an unbelievable game at home. And I remember that I said after the game, we did everything right today, and still needed a big luck to win this game. So you could immediately feel how strong this league and how strong the opponents are, that you can do everything right and still concede 2 goals. So it was super tough, and it gives you immediately a warning about what you have to expect here in this league.
And your first win's always special. How does that compare to your other wins, or your most special wins as Southampton manager?
The first win is always important because it creates a relationship, and I spoke in the beginning about long or short-term success as a new manager. A short-term success as a new manager is something, I want to say, relatively easy. The first 2-3 games, when you have 1 win, then everything is what you say, everything what you do is immediately followed by everybody. The harder thing is to have then a long-term run with results, with success, with a club like Southampton. And this is what I knew at the time, that would be a tough challenge to come out of this bottom, because I think we have been 18th or 19th in the table at that time, and we knew that it's a long way to go to stay in the league.
And how impressive have you been with Arsenal, the way they've developed since 2018, and now they're top of the league with a 4-point lead?
Yeah, I think that there were also some moments where Mikel had troubles and had to make, as I said, tough decisions. I remember the situation with Aubameyang, where he was very, very brave to put the captain out, and then you need results, and he got these results, and you could feel that the team was following his advices. And it's also a very young group with very young and potentially young players, and a very good mixture, clear philosophy, clear plan, clear way how you want to play, and very driven, very, very acribic. I think when you watch it from outside, all the attributes you need to become a successful manager.
Okay. Cheers, Ralph. Thank you.